says all your money's gone, you find yourself standing all alone, when the one you thought you could lean on no longer can be found. When the doctor stands beside your bed, he takes one look and shakes his head. All your hopes, he'll do it again. He's not dead, he's not tired, he's not sleeping. It might look impossible to you, but when it's seen from our God's point of view, it's just a miracle waiting to happen. You've been serving the Lord for most of your lives, going to church with your kids and your wife. You can't understand why this has happened to you. Always try to live and do your best. You find your faith being put to the test. If you'll just keep on trusting in God, He will see you through. Don't give up, don't give in. God's delivered before and He'll do it again. He's not dead, He's not tired, He's not sleeping. It might look impossible to you, but when it's seen from our God again, He's not dead. Point of view, it's just a miracle waiting to happen. Oh, it might look impossible to you, but when it's seen from our God's point of view, it's just a miracle waiting to happen.
All right, hey everyone, this is Paula with ECOG's Grace to Glory podcast, and we are here. And today I invited here to the podcast our ECOG Rooted Student Ministries youth pastors. And the reason I wanted to let them share is because I know God is really doing a lot of things within their ministry, within this group. We have had so many teens use and step out to use their gifts that God is giving them and leading them into their own ministries, I believe, which is very exciting to us. That that God is preparing them for that, and God is using them for that, but that also that we as a group, as a church, are contributing to praying for them, to supporting them, and to lift them up, to get them in that direction. So I want to let Cody and Amber just talk about what's going on in the Rooted Student Ministries.
And we're thankful to be here today. Me and Sister Amber, we started this journey about 9 months, about a year ago.
Yes.
And since then, God's been doing some awesome things. As she said, our job's not always just to love your teens, which we do. Love them like our own. That's awesome. I tell her often that they're like our kids.
I don't see how it couldn't be, because you spend so much time with them.
Exactly. And with that, we have some prayerful time that's good, and then some time that we have to pray with them that's not so good. But I think the most important part about it, though, is letting them know that we love them and that God loves them.
Right.
Like you were saying, a couple of them, our older ones have been stepping out. We've been
Logan actually was one of them that actually stepped out and feels like he is called to preach. Is that correct?
That's right. Which
is awesome and exciting, because he's like still a senior, or he's a graduated already?
He's a junior.
He's a junior. Wow! Oh my gosh! And he already feels that that is his calling, and that is so awesome. That within the ministry that you guys are doing, that he has already felt that calling and felt that ministry pulling, and God calling him, and the Holy Spirit calling him to that. I was so excited the other week, and I know I was sick and couldn't be here, but I was so excited that he was stepping forth and doing that. You know, it says a lot, one, for you guys, but it also says a lot for the ministry in a whole, because you're giving them what they need to step out and go forward. And that's what we're supposed to be here for.
See, God gives us all purpose.
Right.
He gives us, you know, we're created in His image. We're created with His insight, and He knows everything. And I believe that it is our duty, our job as youth pastors. You know, sometimes we shoulder burdens, but at the same time, it is our job to let them realize their purpose that God has called them to.
Yeah.
I believe we're working, actually, you know, we've got a couple of them, not just Logan, which Logan's been doing an awesome job. We've got a lot of them that's been operating in their music gifts.
Yeah, I've actually loved the drama. The drama team. I've actually been so excited and jumping inside because I have seen them step out and do that. My girls did that in their younger years, and when they were like 8, 9, and like 10, 12, because there's 4 years difference between the older two. And I watched them then, and I know that is used in such a dramatic effect and way. God can use that, because a lot of the teens, you know, and I know that, you know, ECOG and the Church of God has a mission in their statements, but I truly believe that God is using different things nowadays to grasp them, to get a hold of them, to touch their hearts. And sometimes it takes dramatic skits or dramatic scenes like that to pull them in for God to use. And I love the fact that they are doing that.
We often define what God can do.
Yeah.
In things
I agree with that.
In traditions.
Absolutely.
You know, we're
Absolutely.
traditionally, we think, you know, God has to move this way, God has to move that way, and respectfully so, you know, God moves, God has order. But at the same time, God can do things in 1 second that we could never do in a lifetime.
Right.
And I believe God uses their heart, uses their passion. They just want to reach people. They want to show people Christ, and I believe that's so important this day and age for teens to know that, you know, someone cares about them. They have a place, and that God did everything He did just for them, even if it was just for them.
And I think today our world is not the same as it was just, you know, way back in the 60s. You know, you have a lot of other things that they can actually go down the path with, and at an early age, I believe. You know, so I believe that it is ministries like this, if we can get them in sooner the better. You know, you don't wait until they're 17. You know, yes, if that's when we get them, okay. You know, if we get their attention then, okay. But, you know, it's good to have them at an early age and rear them up.
And we're bringing them all in these aspects that really fit to them.
Right.
And what they don't realize is they just think they're being a part of something, but that's leadership. And so we're doing all these leadership courses with them, you know, preparing them, you know, because I believe they all have a calling.
Right.
And you can see
And
it,
they do.
but then when they work in their calling, they just move so smoothly, and they don't even see it. They don't see themselves, but everyone else can see it.
Yeah.
So we're trying to raise them up to be those leaders that, you know, that they can
And they need that.
sustain and be themselves. And, you know, there'll be times where they can do things and we don't have to be present because they can sustain.
Yeah, and they need that. You know, I'm a firm believer. When I'm doing the podcast, I know people have heard me say this many times, that all of us have a calling and a destiny. God made us for a purpose. None of us, I mean, just like He made the trees and the stars and the sand, is for our lives. But once we do, and we step into that calling, our lives can run so much smoother. And under God's, you know, umbrella, spiritual umbrella and blessings. And I believe that is a lot of y'all's ministry, is to do that with the teens, you know, to teach them those things.
Our best.
Well, you do a good job. I mean, because I know I've seen a lot of them connect with you guys. And you know, we were talking earlier, you know, I, the way you spend so much time with them. I know my girls are, you know, they marry and got their own lives, and so it's hard for me now to get with all of for my children, because they have their own children. They all have their own families, you know, that intermediate family. So when you guys are with them, it is just like you guys are a second mom and a second dad, even though y'all are young. But
we recently had someone tell us that we were surrogate parents, and that really hit home with me, is that we really are in ways.
Yes, yeah, it is.
And at the same time, now that is also, at the same time, we teach them and we want them to be self-sustaining.
Yeah.
In the fact that a true leader, a true pastor, a true shepherd doesn't just make them follow after them.
Yeah.
I believe what we do is we love them, we show them Christ, and we are the surrogates sometimes.
Yeah.
But also we show them that one day we may not be here. One day they may be in a leadership position. We don't teach them to follow after us.
Yeah.
We teach them to follow Christ.
Right.
And our job, honestly, one of the main things that I want them to understand and I want to get them to realize is that we have all of this stuff going on, but we want them to be self-sustaining to where when one day, if we leave, they can sustain, don't falter.
Yeah, they can do their own ministry.
And you know, you were talking about connection.
Their own gift.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You were talking about connection, and honestly, we prayed long and hard about this. We wanted a place to go. We didn't want to just be doing something. We wanted a place to go. So we actually incorporated our own vision that goes along with the church's vision for the youth group, and it goes off of John 3:16. You know, for God so loved the world, He gave His only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in Him, disciple and lead. They get connected with us. We connect them. We don't want anybody coming in to service thinking that they're alone, thinking that they don't belong. You know,
Because you know, nowadays you have so much on the internet, you have so much bullying, and you know, you have teens that are actually to the point where, because of such going on, they're committing suicide. That's the bad thing about it. But the thing is, and not to give the enemy glory, because that's not what I want to do, but I want to give God glory, because this is where your ministry comes in at, because you give them, one, a place to come. You give them someone that connects with them, and you give them the leadership to show them that they have a purpose, you know, and that they're not here for nothing.
That's right.
And that's what a lot of these teens need, because of feeling of inadequacy. When they come here, I have seen so many grow in the Lord, for one, but they also grow and mature and know that they have a purpose and that they're not alone. They have someone like you and Cody that they can talk to. Because, you know, be realistic, a lot of teens don't want to talk to their parents. I mean, you know, hello. I mean, you know, we have Mackenzie. I call her Reese, but we have Mackenzie, and she, you know, there's a lot of times she does not want to talk to us, you know. And I was raised very strict, so of course she always bucks me on that. She always does. But you know, you have teens that will do that sometimes. But given the right person to come along and lead them in the way to go, which is you and Cody, I believe you guys are doing. I know that that's what's going on with our teens, and I'm excited at it. I really am. I'm really excited. I have been. My spirit's just been jumping, you know. I mean, you know, and that's the only way I can describe it, because that's the excitement. I mean, it's like boom, 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 you know, yay, you know. But and that's my stupidity, I guess, craziness. But you know, it's hard to explain when you get that spirit within you that's so jumping for joy, because you know God is really working and moving, and He's an awesome God. And it's like you said earlier, you know, sometimes we just put God in a little box.
That's exactly right.
You know, and if we just let him have his way, if we surrender it all and we let him have his way, then he can move and do so much more than what we ever anticipate. And I have known that as my experience to the podcast, because this thing I started just as something to do for like our events, and it just exploded. And that's the only way I can describe it. It has exploded beyond what I ever thought it would do. And to get back onto the Teen Center, I want to take a break. I want to just give you an opportunity to kind of collect your thoughts, and play a couple of more songs. But I want to, you know, we outgrew our Teen Center, and we had to build a new Teen Center because we outgrew it. And at that point, we had how many before we built the new Teen Center?
Before we had the teen center,
Well, when you first came here,
when
how
we
many?
first came, we had around 24, 25.
20 to 25.
Okay, and now we are running how many?
We're
30 to 35.
30, 35. And it would actually be 40 if all of them were at the same time. But you know, God, you know, everybody's got different things, and
And
God
different
leads people
schedules,
in
because
different
some of these
schedules.
teams actually hold jobs.
Yes.
So they actually do their jobs, and then, you know, if they can get here, so, and I understand that, and that's awesome. When we come back, I want to talk with you about how you feel about getting into the new teen center. Cause I love it. You know, some of us have already seen it, and it is absolutely amazing and beautiful, and you guys did an awesome job decorating it. It was just so awesome, and I'll take some pictures and post later on Facebook. But I want you to just talk about that later when we come back. Okay. So we'll come back later. I'll play a couple of songs and let him kind of discuss later when we come back about the new teen center that we have and how excited we are to be in it. Okay? Catch my breath. Y'all doing awesome. I couldn't get the
Does it play what we say right now?
yeah. Well, it'll pick it up. we are back, and we are live with our ECOG Grace to Glory podcast, and we are with our special guest today from our ECOG Rooted Student Ministries. Excuse me, I got my tongue tied. We're just talking about the ministry and with our youth and what God has been doing, what their mission is, or mission statement rather, and we were discussing how God has just blessed us so. God has just moved in a mighty way, and we started out with how many when you got here?
About 20 to 25.
Yeah, about 20 to 25. And probably another 10 or 15 maybe, give or take, because a lot of some of these kids hold down jobs as well. So some of them can't always be here. You know, some of them can't come all the time. They have jobs that they have to take care of. But God actually moved, and we had the teen center, and the teen center is awesome.
It is awesome.
How many can we really sit in that new teen center?
About a max of 90. As of right now, we have it around
About
halfway at capacity.
Yeah.
We have half the seating. We at the back. We're actually today we're in the process of getting a pool table at the
Yes.
back with a top to go up for ping pong. So that'll
Yeah.
be cool. For,
Pastor David was telling me that guys were ordering that, which is awesome because that gives the guy the other kids or other youth there within that something that they can do. Like if we're still in, a lot of times we're still in the sanctuary and we're still in service when you guys get out, so that gives them a lot of
And
time.
outside of that, we are almost finished.
I'm afraid what I would feel like the next day.
well,
Oh, come on.
No, we went out to Sam Kell's farm Saturday,
Yeah.
and I thought it was just going to be, okay, we're just going to, ride a little bit of four-wheelers out there. The next Sunday morning when I come in here, I felt like I was beat with a bat. My body felt that way, guys. I'm serious. I was sore all over. And I guess it was just from, jarring around so much. But yeah, I can imagine if I played volleyball, what I would feel like the day after, guys,
well, the kids are a little nervous because they know I'm about to beat them, but
Yeah,
what can you do? You can't go easy on them. That's not the right
that
message.
is one
I'm just-
sport that I did like to play. So, but I don't think I'm too good for that anymore. So. But it's exciting though because now we have the volleyball court, we have the new teen center, which is about halfway full of capacity, but which is awesome. With that, we have the sound system set up there. You have 3 screens, right? We have 2 in the front, 1 in the back, which is awesome, that you can use for any kind of graphics that you need. You have a keyboard back there. You have everything that you need back there to do a full service and to allow like someone else that's stepping up to his or her calling and gift to do a service if they needed to, which is awesome all in itself. But I know with that you have some upcoming events and special
Yeah.
things that's happening.
Well, most importantly, because it's today, youth camp applications are due tonight because they
Wow.
have to be turned in tomorrow.
I did
So
not know that.
all youth camp applications for mini week, youth week, teen week, all of that, workers applications, they need to be turned in tonight. We'll have some clear ones, some blank ones on the welcome booth. This Sunday night is our graduation service for anyone who's graduated kindergarten
Now,
and everything.
I have a quick question. I noticed, and some may not know this, but I did notice on Facebook where one, and I can't remember which it was. I don't think it was Jamie Barfield. I think it was the other person that heads up youth camp.
Scotty Hager?
I think it was Scotty. They have it set up now that you can pay online for that,
Absolutely.
correct?
Yes.
Do you know
That's-
where they can go?
Front,
Now, for those, and I don't mean to keep
No, you're fine.
interrupting, but for those that don't know what this youth camp for our children are, and maybe they have teens, but they have never been, can you tell them where it is, and can you kind of describe what this kind of entails?
absolutely. We have, through the state of South Carolina, we have two campuses. We have the Malden campus, and we have the PD campus, which is where we send our kids, because it's right on the road. And they'll go on Monday morning, around lunchtime, and get registered and get in their dorms, and be there through Friday morning when they get up. And they have, throughout the day, they have, mini week goes home on Thursday. But, throughout the day, like that Monday, they'll have some games when they first get settled, and then they'll have service that night, and then they'll have late night live, which is just a bunch of games and fun. And they'll do that every day. They'll wake up, they'll have breakfast, devotions, they'll do games, they'll have different activities to do, out breaks, out sessions, break apart sessions, and we'll have service again each night, and a late night live each night, and just keeping them going, keeping them enthused, having good Christian fun, and
Right.
it's
Now,
really
this is-
it's life changing. Our kids always come back,
I know,
very
yeah.
excited.
Yeah, and last year Reese couldn't go, so I would really like her to be able to go this year. Now, for those that don't know, our PD campground is like right on the other side of PD.
Yes.
It is just a location where Church of God set up years and years and years ago, where we had camp meeting, and they have done youth camp there and in our Malden facility too for years. Now these dates are, the pre-registration is due tonight,
Yes.
but the dates are from, is it in July?
Well, some of them are in June, some of them are in July.
It's gonna be pertaining to the age groups, because they
Yeah,
haven't split
the
up.
first week that they have camp this year is the June the 24th through the 28th, and that is
The mini week.
that is mini week. Yeah, I'm trying to make sure I'm doing it right.
And
And
it'll
then
actually
it'll
be
actually go through the
27th.
27th. Yeah, and then that second week, the first week of July, the 1st through the 5th is teen week, and then that second week in July, the 8th through the 12th, will be junior week.
Okay.
And
And
the ages.
the ages are, I don't know,
What I'll do is later, after we're done with the podcast,
I
what
just
I'll
don't
do
wanna-
is
but there is a
I'll
grace
cross
period.
post the flyer, because they do have a flyer on the what is it,
The
South
state
Carolina?
page,
Yeah,
Youth
the
and Discipleship.
yeah, Youth and Disciple for Church of God. So I can post that flyer if anybody needs to kind of check that out. I can do that as well. But that is a great event for the kids
Absolutely.
during the summer. That's the thing that I remember going there years ago. I'm not even gonna say how long it is, but I know when we went to the women's retreat at Malden, I was like, I remember this, but I haven't been up there in Malden since I was probably like 15 or 16. So yeah, it's been a while.
And if they don't know anybody, come get connected with us. Sister Amber will be going senior week, and she'll be counseling, so
Okay.
she'll be actually
Yeah.
in the dorm with you if you're not comfortable with being in any other dorm. And then junior week, I'll actually be coming to counsel. So if you want to try it, nervous about it, we'll be here for you. We'll work through it, and I can almost promise that you'll have fun.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think so too.
Absolutely.
I know Mackenzie went with you guys to the other winter
Winter
retreat?
retreat,
Yeah, and she had a blast.
And see,
She
winter
had-
retreat is just a mini camp. It's
Yeah.
literally 2 days of youth camp.
Yeah,
just
yeah.
In the winter, so.
Now, is there any other events that's coming up for you guys?
A bunch. So we've got the graduation service.
That's this Sunday night.
Yeah,
All
for
paperwork.
all graduates. That's
And
from
5K,
kindergarten all the way
yeah.
up.
All the way to
And
college.
and all the paperwork and pictures are due tonight as well. Then we have camp meeting coming up, and that the Friday camp meeting will have the youth choir. And so anybody who wants to participate in that, we need to know in advance so we can get it all registered. and
If
stuff.
I'm not mistaken, if you want to, or you're kind of like on the edge of whether or not you want to go to the youth choir at camp meeting, which is going to be big, but I believe that they're giving away some,
They give out gifts.
some
I think
so-
they have 2 Apple Watches
That's a
this
really
year.
good incentive, guys.
Also, during that same time, we have fireworks going on. It's right in the middle of the camp,
Yeah.
which is not fun. But we have fireworks from the 25th to, or tentatively from the 25th.
And for
to
those
the
that don't
5th.
know what the fireworks sales are, our fireworks sales is to help, kind of help with the cost of a lot of these events, or like going to youth camp, or like going to a retreat for our teens. It kind of helps the parents offset the cost if need be. So that's what the fireworks sell out for. We usually put 2 stands in 2 Walmart locations during those holiday seasons, and that's what they're referring to.
We have one at the Irby Street Walmart, and we have one at the Beltline Walmart. I've seen.
The youth one will be at the Beltline, if I'm not mistaken. And the one for our church outreach will be at Irby Street.
Okay.
Now, the one for the youth this year is going for mainly rafting, but we got
Yes.
rafting. If you don't know how fun it is to raft, come with me, get in a raft with me, because me and the boys last year, we asked them to flip us as many times as they could, and they did, and it was awesome. But if you don't like flipping, don't get a raft with me. Get in a raft with like Sister Amber, and they won't flip you at all. But it's very fun. It's relaxing.
We're going to try and get our cabins nailed down in the next week or 2, and we're shooting to do rafting the second week in August. The
Okay.
second weekend, it'll be the 9th through the 11th. Is what
And
we're
this
shooting
is
for.
a rafting trip that the ECOG rooted teams go on
Every year.
during the summer.
And if you want, we offset the price by getting any team that wants to go to work at least a
Yes.
day in the fireworks stands. If
Yeah.
you work a day or half a day in the fireworks stands, because
We don't like to work all
we
day.
divide the days up, so now
Yeah.
you're not there all day.
Yeah.
But you get your time in, and once you do that, you'll be able to go at a significantly lower rate. So
Yeah. And then, of course, we have Vacation Bible School coming up of July
Yes.
14th through the 18th.
VBS.
Yes.
We're super excited.
What's
Yeah.
the theme this year? It's the
It's a
Roar.
roar, yeah.
roar.
The
That's gonna be
It's
Roar.
like
exciting.
a safari thing.
Yeah, it's the safari thing.
Really
So
excited
we
about
have a lot of events coming up, and we, not just to say that we have events for the teens, but we do have events for all age groups. So if you have any kind of age group as far as teens or even grandchildren, and you're looking to get them connected somewhere, whether it's the teens or whether it's another age group, we encourage you to give ECOG a try, because we have so many things going on within our church for different age groups, not just the teens. We're excited because the teens are exploding, but we know that there are other age groups as well. So if you need, to get connected or with a church that has something for different age groups, I want you to know that we do have those. So, but is there anything else that you want to talk about today? Where do you think God is really taking you at this point with the with the teens and with the youth?
Well, I think he's taken us in a positive direction. I've seen God move in their lives since I've been here. It's just awesome to kind of sit back and watch sometimes how
Yeah.
God just works.
I agree with you on that.
I believe God's taken us to be a more unified youth group, and not only that, but we do outreach, and we
Yeah.
God's going to grow us, but more importantly, inside than
Yeah.
out.
Right. Yeah.
Our
Yeah.
biggest emphasis right now is really on leadership. We want them to not only be able to lead each other back there, from the oldest to the youngest and the youngest to the oldest, but be able to come out here and lead, help be that person who leads in worship,
Yeah.
because, it takes more than just the people on the stage.
Yeah. I agree.
So that's the kind of stuff we're pushing right now.
And the thing is, for me, because I sit back here and I do the video cam, but I also do some praise and worship sometimes. But after when you're in that position, and I hate to say position, but when you're doing that same thing all the time, it's hard to step out when you need to and be able to enter yourself into worship so that you can enter into the presence of God. And it's times like these as to what we're doing and what you guys are doing with the teens, that we're teaching them that at any time when they're in service and they feel the Holy Spirit lead them to do something, to step out and let God use them, because it doesn't matter whether it is just a word to say hello, that can touch someone's heart, and God can use just that one simple word. So, and that's pretty amazing and exciting, because no matter what, as long as you trust God and you step out, God can use you. So, and it's exciting to see the teens doing that now. I'm excited to see what else God is going to do and how He's going to use them, and which ones are going to be called to do what. That's that's my expectation. Which one God is going to call to do this, or this, and it's really exciting to see that. It's really exciting to see that, and to see them grow in the Lord. So I'm excited for you guys. I'm so glad that you guys are here. We all love you guys. I know y'all work so hard in what you do, because you spend countless times and hours, and days and hours, connected to these kids, and that's a blessing, not just for our church, but for the child that you are, dedicating yourself to, just pour into, and we're blessed to have you guys. We really are. And I'm excited to see what else God is going to do. I really are.
Yes,
thanks for being here today. Is there anything else that you need to cover, you want to talk about? Well, I've got you here because it's taken so long.
Just come check us out.
If you don't have a home church, I do not want to pull you from a home church, so get me straight right now. But if you don't have a home church, if you don't go to church, you don't have anywhere to go, we would love to have you. We would love to have you, and not only that, but when you're here, you're not just a seat warmer.
Exactly.
We let you know that we love you.
We want to put you to work.
Our teens let you know that they love you. Some of them go a little overboard sometimes, but that's all right. It's all in good fun. We love you guys wherever you are, whoever you are, and we're just excited to see what God does from here. We're just honored to be at the place God's called us to at this time.
It's an awesome feeling, isn't it?
It is.
It's an awesome feeling to know that you're in that position that God wants you to be in, to do His work and will.
In God's will for your life
Yes.
is the most rewarding. Sometimes it's painful, but most rewarding thing that you could ever do is find where God wants you and operate in it.
Yeah, I agree with that. Absolutely.
And as far as if you want to know whether or not we'll love you, whether or not these teens will love you, actions speak louder than words. So.
Yes, I agree. I agree. Okay, guys, I'm gonna play a little music, and I thank you so much for being here. I really enjoyed this.
Thank you so much.
I've been trying to get you guys on here for a while. But I know y'all's schedule has been
That
crazy.
list just keeps getting a little bit longer.
I know. And there are, and I totally understand, there are times when you really just need to focus on certain things, and certain things take priority, and I totally get that. Totally. So, but if you need a church to get connected with, come give us a try. And I hope you guys enjoyed this information with the podcast today on our ECOG Rooted Student Ministries and how they are growing, how they are expanding, but most of all, how we are ministering, or God is ministering with these kids, and they are able to step out into their calling and destiny that God has given them. And we are blessed to see that, and I am encouraging everybody. And if you are an ECOG student in this ministry, know that we, as the adults in this church, are very proud of you, are looking forward and excited to where God is taking you. And we love you guys. I'm going to play some more music, and thanks for joining us today. We love you guys. Bye. You did good.